Rugby Chat That Matters. It's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. The first of many shows are going to be focusing on Rugby World Cup. We are going to have a show every night in the group stages at 9 o'clock. One of the guys with us here in the studio will be joining me to host those shows, so we'll be splitting the work a little bit, especially seeing that I'm going away next week. But if you are new to our shows, if you enjoy your rugby, and in particular if you enjoy your rugby betting, do go down below the video and you'll be able to find a spot, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see how things go from there. Just to mention, Henrik's popping us a note. He's struggling a bit with his phone, but he will be joining us. And we're also expecting Oracle Rugby. But let's start by welcoming the guys in the live chat. They've come from a very interesting show with Gary Lenton. All sorts of things are revealed about him. We won't touch on it even in the show, but you're welcome to go and watch. So welcome to all the boys in the live chat. And Gerard Groenewald. Gerard, good to have you back on the show. You look like you're ready for a World Cup of punting, but you're not going to leave the Meter 10 Cup either.
Geez, Brent, there's a couple of furloughs in the Meter 10 Cup as well. I can't wait for this to start. I think my boss just needs to know that I'm only coming back to work on the 4th of November. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, there's plenty of rugby for us to talk about. And as I said, just to make a note, 9 o'clock every night there will be a live show. Some of us will have more to talk about than others. And I'm going to get Couch talking now. Couch, welcome to the show. Thanks for producing the show, if I can put it that way, the GG Gaming. But now we're into the business end of things. And let me bring the boys up while you're talking.
Cheers, Brent. Thanks, man. Yeah, it obviously just did a bit of chatting, but nice being here and looking forward to the shows. And yeah, can we believe next time we chat, it's going to be on the go. We've been waiting for this for one heck of a long time, and now it's here. So it's great stuff. And I just want to say, Gerard said he's going to tell his boss about not coming back. I'm going to tell my boss when I do get back, I'm putting that big screen TV on, because we're definitely going to be watching some rugby during office hours.
Do you think your boss has actually noticed you missing over the last few weeks? Because it's amazing. I mean, you've actually got a tan there. You've been sitting on the lounge or something, reading books.
Oh, man, I can't come back looking like Casper the Spooky there. I have to at least sit outside every night. Just change my position, you know.
Excellent. Well, let's introduce the other two panelists who've come in. And it's Henrik Swart. Henrik, well done. You were in fine form in Gary's show. You even came closest to that other question you asked, which shocked all of us. And you weren't far out.
I was taking the piss a bit with my 13, and then it was even younger than 13. That was a bit of a shock. Well, I wonder what that girl is. You must get the girl on the show next week. Show us what she
I think she's had psychological help ever since then. But good to have you on the show. Look forward to talking now World Cup rugby. And of course, another man who was also active on the show, it's Oracle Rugby. Oracle, you must be itching to get going in the World Cup.
Yes, Brent, I'm impressed that Gary knows who Clippy's Kritzinger is.
Well, Clippy's, jokes aside, Clippy's Kritzinger, I played for Diggers, and Clippy's was actually the chairman of our club when I joined Diggers as an under-20. He was already quite an old bullet then. And I think he was the first ever Diggers Springbok or something like that. You'd obviously end up there. So I was also, quite interesting.
According to the internet.
Sorry?
I say he died last year, according to the internet.
Yes, he passed away. It was fairly recently. But anyway, welcome to the show, the Oracle. Guys, what we're going to do on today's show, for those tuning in, we're going to touch on a few of the long terms. Anything you guys want to chat about? We'll also talk about the points lines and that, because they are now out for the long-term markets. And then we'll go talk a bit about tomorrow's big game, the World Cup opener, and also touch on the Bok game. We won't go into too much detail on the weekend. The boys can certainly talk about a Meter 10 Cup, but we won't go into too much detail because, of course, we do want to save something for tomorrow night's show. And tomorrow night's show at 9 o'clock will cover some of the other games taking place on Saturday. And then, of course, we've got Saturday's program that'll take care of Sunday. So that's it. So let's go straight. And Henrik, I'm going to hand over to you. I'm also going to pop out for a couple of minutes because I race straight into Gary's show. There's a burger getting cold for me there. And I'm going to leave you guys chatting and leave you in the capable hands of Hein. But let's start off with Henrik. Henrik, what other long-term bets have you got going since we last chatted?
Brent, we did the virtual 10,000 last week. Well, I wasn't on the show, but you touched on my selections as well, and I placed those. And then, on Sunday night, the total points and total tries for the tournament came out, and I had a real go at that. I actually spent more than my budget that I allowed myself for the long terms. So yeah, I spent everything that I could on long terms on that, and I went unders on the points and the tries, under 2,615 and 315 tries, and yeah, most of us probably got on to that. So yeah, not much any other long terms. Yeah, and I know you got onto that as well. So that's my only one.
Yeah. Did Gerard, you as well? Did you get on the points? And just between those two, do you think the tries or the points is the preferred option if someone isn't on yet?
Yeah, it's difficult. I also got on both of those thanks to the early notifications. Obviously, after that, some quite slashed the tries and the points markets. So good early indicator there. But I just feel maybe the tries looks a lot. If someone haven't gotten on to that yet, the tries do look a lot of points. And I think they, especially with the weather and with the Northern Hemisphere teams that's going to play a bigger part this year, I think in the World Cup, they'll kick their points when they get the opportunity.
Oracle, you've been shouting unders. Are you going unders for the tournament as well, or are you keeping powder dry mostly per game?
Yeah, Han, I'm not much of a unders overs punter. Just, I'm just letting the guys know that do play those things that certainly unders is the way to go. And I mean, Henrik, you said 2,600 and something. I mean, we spoke a week or a little bit ago with a spread, and that was the 2,550, I think, if I remember correctly. And I think we worked that out at 52 or 53 a game. I think it's going to be a lot lower than that. And when I say a lot lower, I mean, I'm talking about 10, 15%. So I think the average at the end of the tournament will probably be something like 46, 47, maybe 44, 45. So definitely unders. Look, I'm not much of a player for that, but statistically, I do believe it will be unders. I just think there's value elsewhere. But yeah, if you, as I said last week, unders is the way to go. If you're not sure, go unders or go plus. If you're sure, have a small bet. If you're going minus, you're going plus or unders, have a proper go, because that's the right way to go.
Okay, guys, I'll get on to some other bets as well, but obviously try scorers has been pretty fun for me, and I'll get on to Oracle with the points as well. But the one that I did add was I got Dupont 14-1 for French top try scorer at Hollywood, so that's the only little extra that I got there. Obviously, he's not a winger, but he's a scrummy who scores a heck of a lot. And I know the French have got fly-offs playing 9 and 9's playing fly-off and all that, but apparently there are 2 scrum-offs in the squad, so hopefully, even when he's not playing the big games or the smaller games, he's going to be playing off the bench, and he could still get a try or two. So to me, Dupont at 14-1 for the French top try scorer, and I don't, they might not even get out of the pool. So 4 tries or so could be enough. So I think that's a runner. Gerard, anything else on any exotics that you did eventually, or if you didn't add anything else, what is your one best play out of the exotics for you pre-tournament?
Yeah, I actually added Mo'anga to top score at 10-1, and I also took some of Baden Barrett top score. I'm not sure who's going to keep the polls. I think that you can actually get that at 11-1. And then I also took Corey Betty, obviously 1-4 at 9-1. I think that's going to be something to look at. Yes, I also did a little bit like Andrew said. I had a certain amount X amount that I wanted to spend, and I think the enthusiasm and the hype about the tournament just took over, and I totally went above and beyond that. Yeah, and I also took it was just pretty high odds for me, over 8.5 tries for a single scorer in the World Cup. I think it was 5-1, yeah. On that, we've had 8 tries and 8 tries, so close. I think 9 might be close enough. But yeah, look, the points and the tries is obviously I think that's a pretty good play. I've had a multiplier as well. Yeah, I would say I've Severy still top I think it was top 4 try scorer at like 3-1. I think that just looks like a decent bet. And yeah, I think obviously New Zealand has decided that Reach is their best left winger. So yeah, I don't think Rico will have a shout, but he's most probably going to play that 2 weaker games. But yeah, I like Severies 1-4.
Gerard, you said you had an X amount. I'll tell you, my X amount was reached about a week ago. I'm now onto past Y and onto the Z amount. It's scraping the barrel now. Listen, Oracle, there's actually something that Sean mentioned there, and I saw a little promo which made me think of you. I think it was Bet.co.za or someone. They had 12.5 for South Africa to win the World Cup and Pollard to be top point scorer, and I thought that had Oracle written all over it.
Yes, Han. I just want to go back to, I think it was Niku, sorry, last week, pointing out 3-1. As it happened on my WhatsApp chat, I spoke to a few guys, and someone came out and said there was 6-1 about Pollard at, I think it was Super Bets. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm pretty much banned there, so I can't get on. But I did manage to get some 5-1 and a bit of 9-2. And after doing a lot of research, and I know you had not a go at me, but you sort of pointed out the negative side of it. You look at 2015, Pollard lost by 4 to Nicolas Sanchez. Sanchez, interestingly, scored a try, which Pollard didn't score. So had he taken that away, Pollard wins, but he came second anyway. I'm not going to change the result. Obviously, it's history. 2011, Mornay Steyn won by a country mile, and Percy Montgomery in 2007 won by a long way. So, this top point scorer has got South Africa written all over it. And, the last time an English guy, and I see they've got Owen Farrell as favourite at something ridiculous like 3-1 or 33-10. The last time an English guy won this particular bet was Johnny Wilkinson in 2003. Obviously, in that particular tournament, South Africa did very badly. I just think it is race over, as Sean pointed out on the screen. Like, if you can get yourselves on Handré Pollard here, if it's the only bet you have in this World Cup, take it, because he is absolutely a runner. That price is way overpriced. I'm a price punter. The guys that are on the show now know that. I'm not a gambler. I'm a price punter. And when I see something like, 3 or 4, or even 9-2 or 5-1 or 6-1, as we saw, about somebody that, for me, will absolutely finish in the top 3, bar an injury or something else, or a train smashing him over in Japan, I don't know. But Handré Pollard should win this thing easily. I know that I've been told that he won't play all 7 games. I've got to believe he's going to play 6.25 of them at worst. And if he comes on for the last 20 minutes against Namibia or Italy or Canada, he'll probably score more points than Giant Cheese in the first 60 minutes. Interestingly, Giant Cheese is 28-1. What I did do is I backed Sanchez at 11-1 to cover. And I took Sanchez not to win money, just to get the stake back that I had on Pollard. And let me tell you, Pollard is borrow money from your grandmother's pension. I know you guys have been waiting for that for a while. This is all over. And if you're really scared, I know that Sunbet, I think they had 12-10 earlier in the week. They got 7 or 8-10 about Pollard being in the top 3. That is an absolute certainty. It's more certain than the sun will come up tomorrow. That one is race over. You can put that result in and you can pay all of us.
Listen, guys, quite an interesting one. Sorry, Brent, I'm just going to keep on going. Is that actually with the team announcement, of the first teams, basically of the first round of matches, you get a little bit of an indicator. So I know that Gerard there mentioned something. So mentioned something about Severies and those guys, but I'm actually a little bit worried about the fact that they did go for Bridge, because to me this means that Rico is going to play all 3 the next games. And they're gonna probably try and play him into form as I thought they might. So I'm really worried that he's gonna have 2 easy games and he could chalk up quite a number. So it's actually not a big boost for me. The nice thing there is that those guys who both on Mwanga and Barrett, obviously that market is pretty open now because both of them are playing. So I think we're gonna know probably half an hour into the Bok game who's going to be the favourite in that market, depending on who takes the kicking duties, and if Barrett does, whether he slots them over and keeps it or doesn't. So that one's going to be quite interesting early doors. And then I'm gonna hold firm. Yeah, I think the big thing was I actually had a nice little graph about the resting period, and the Boks have a 3-day turnaround between Italy and Namibia or someone like that. Something happens there. I'm not sure the one, but it's close to the end, or Canada and Italy. Either way, and there's just no ways that Rassi's going to get. Pollard's not even going to get off the bus for that game. So I think there's definitely, and again the indicated to me this weekend that Elton isn't even on the bench means he's definitely going to give Elton full game somewhere else. You know, he's going to be under pressure. He's not going to have a passenger on board. So Elton to me is probably going to start 2 games, and I think he's going to definitely against either Namibia or Canada, whichever is that short turnaround. He's not even going to have Polly on the bench. So there's just a little bit of a warning for me, especially on the outright. The top 3, I think you should be solid, but yeah, I'm not at 3-1. I'm not going to touch Polly. Otherwise, I'm pretty firm on what I started with. I'm getting a little bit nervous. We're going to go on to the Boks now, but I'm getting a little bit nervous that my whole layout that I had, that the Boks are going to finish second in the group is probably, okay, and just as I want to go over to Brent, he's not there anymore, is going to go out the window. So I'm a little bit worried. But if there's nothing else on the outright, guys, can we move on to the Japs?
I just want to touch on the Pollard thing with Auckland that you mentioned now. I think I hear what Oracle says, that Pollard will be on the bench, but I like you say, I think he won't be even on the bus, like you said, for the one game. I think Frans Steyn will be the backup 10 in of some of the smaller games even. So yeah, you can't bank on Pollard being on the bench even, just because Frans Steyn is covering fly-off this weekend, so surely you'll give him a bit of a run against the smaller teams as well at 10.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's my concerns. As I said, especially at that price. I mean, you can obviously do that for almost all the teams. I don't think anyone. I think the way rugby has moved is that no one's going to start all 4 games. You know, they've got big squads, and the other guys are sufficiently bad enough that I think you're going to see most of those guys get proper rest. So it could, in any case, still work out in favour of Pollard, where a Farrell also only plays 2 games or 2.5 games. So it's not necessarily a killer to the bet, but it's just something that you need to keep in mind. Oracle, if there's nothing else on that, can we start you off with the rerun of the Japs? Okay, first something else.
Yeah, sorry. I got so tied down in my Andre Pollard bet. I've taken a couple of other ones that I thought were quite interesting. So I'm looking around for New Zealand South Africa final bet. And I know I saw overseas 7-2. I don't have any betting accounts overseas at the moment, so I was looking locally, and I found that BetExchange Keitho had 2.75. But interestingly, they gave us a bit of a boost, and it was the bet is called any Southern Hemisphere final. So I'm looking for 5-2 South Africa New Zealand, which pretty much everyone's got. I'm getting 10% more, and I'm getting Australia and Argentina thrown in. I don't believe they'll be in the final, but it's sort of a bit of a cutback. So if you like me and you think that New Zealand and South Africa will, obviously because they can't meet each other again in the tournament, I don't believe either of them are going to be beaten in a 2-game situation. That's all it is. Quarterfinal, semi-final. We know that South Africa and New Zealand are going to get to the quarterfinals, going to play a quarterfinal game, semi-final game. That's 2 games each. They're in the final, and you're getting 2.75. It's better than trying to predict whether the South Africa will win or New Zealand will come second or vice versa, whatever it is. I thought that was quite a lot of value. And to go back to what Sean Nicholas said last week about South Africa at 20-1 to win the tournament, winning all their games. Again, it comes down to probability. The probability of South Africa winning, given that they beat New Zealand, is got to be around about 13 or 14-1. So you're getting 20-1. There's a hell of a lot of value in that. There's one other little small bet that I did take. I also found on last night on BetExchange. They had a bet that England would score more than 80 points in one game, and they priced that out up at 12-1. Now, for me, it's not about the handicap here. So they're playing Tonga, however you pronounce it. Whether the handicap 60 or 65, England score 81. I think it's 80 or more, 80 or 81, and that's 12-1. And I think that's quite a lot of value because I'm assuming the handicap will be around about 60 to 65 in that game. Sorry, I haven't seen anything yet. And for an extra 15 points, just assuming Tonga score nothing, you're getting 12 to 1, and that's quite a lot of value. I just want to point out one more thing before we go any further. A lot of bookmakers don't really understand the handicap system when it comes to these big handicaps. So traditionally we go 8 to 10, we go 9 to 10, say minus 5.5. We go 8 to 10, minus 4.5, 7 to 10, minus 3.5, and so on. So we're going one tick down on the betting price for 1 point down on the handicap. And when it gets into the 30s, you've got to be thinking about 2 points. When it gets up to the 55s and 60s, you've got to be thinking 3. So often you're going to find a bookmaker that's priced up minus 50, say, at 9 to 10, and they're pricing up minus 51 at evens and minus 52 at 11 to 10, and they're completely wrong because those should be jumping 3 for the next betting tick. So you're getting a game that could be, say, minus 50 and minus 59, and you're getting something stupid like 3 to 1 or 5 to 2 when they're probably thinking it should be something like 13 to 10. So the value therefore comes on the plus side and on the minus side going down. So if it's 55, you're taking a 54 or 53 and getting a huge price when you should be taking it a lot lower. So these kind of tournaments come around every 4 years. Bookmakers often change their staff. Guys don't know what it was like the last time. I'm a veteran in this. I've been here for 5 World Cups. My first was 1999. In fact, probably 6. I can't even remember how many there've been. But the guys don't remember these kind of things, and they only come out this every 4 years, and we faced with games that don't happen very often. So this is seriously, if you do a little bit of homework, like all the guys on the show, Henrik, especially Gerard, I can see you've done a lot of homework. Han and Brent, you do your homework here, you'll find the bet. Just spend your time, go through all the different websites, study, and you'll find something that puts a little bit of a red flag in your mind, and you think that's a lot of value because there's so many markets, there's so many bookmakers, there's got to be a lot of mistakes here. Not mistakes like they've made a mistake, just that they haven't understood it or read it correctly. That's all.
Henrik?
Oracle, I just want to touch on, you like England against Tonga to score a lot of points, right? Yes. My only problem there is England play USA on Thursday. So they play Tonga on Sunday, and then they play USA on Thursday. And I'm sure they will see USA as a bigger, for me, USA is a better team than Tonga at the moment. So they might play the better team against USA and not the better team against Tonga on Sunday. So that's my only concern there.
I guess team news will be out quickly on that one. Guys, thanks, man. I was busy munching a steer burger while I was listening to the chat there. And just want to give you a couple. It's not a market I commonly look at, but I was looking at the forecast, the straight forecast. So what the straight forecast is you pick the winner and you pick the team that's going to run second. So, if we think about Gary's competition that he wants guys to email the details in on, you try and work your way down and see which teams are going to get in the final. And there's a couple of bets I like there, and I like it actually at Hollywood. I found them at bigger prices than I looked elsewhere. And I know this obviously depends on personal preference, but because I like an England-Ireland final, England to beat Ireland in the final, 40 to 1. Ireland to beat England in the final, 50 to 1. And I think the actual who's going to meet in the final is about 60 to 1. So if you like that, then there's some good value taking that. I mean, what do you think of a price like that? Am I alone on this panel in expecting an all Northern Hemisphere final? I suspect maybe I am.
You're not going to find much love there from Oracle. That much I know. Anything other than the box, he thinks you're wasting your money, huh?
Did you set those prices, Oracle?
No. It would have been 200 to 1 if I was involved.
I like England with you, Brent, but I don't like Ireland anymore. I liked Ireland earlier in the year and last year, but I don't like them anymore. I think Ireland will fall out in the quarters. South Africa or New Zealand will beat Ireland. Yeah,
it's amazing how Ireland's price has drifted. I mean, they were as short as 33 to 10, 3 to 1, sort of towards the end of last year when they beat, I think it was when they beat New Zealand. And to see them drift out to double figures now, I still think I'm a big fan of Joe Schmidt. I still think Ireland may have something up his sleeve. I know Joe Lyons is on the live chat, thinks we are riding off Ireland a bit too soon. I'm not. I do like the Northern Hemisphere sides, and I do like the Irish. Couch, anything else from your side?
No, nothing, Brent. I'm just really, I'm probably gonna head to Gigi and maybe put a little bit something on. As I said, I went for the finals because, I've heard Irishmen and Englishmen now. I've watched some of their shows, and when they're saying Bokke, 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 you got to get worried. It's not just the South African thing. I kept telling myself I'm not gonna get swept up in it. I'm not gonna sit here in a Springbok jersey as I am. I'm not gonna do all those things, and I think I have to start facing facts that it's not a South African thing, it's not a hype thing, it's for real. And when we talk about this game, I'll tell you guys why I think it's real. And Oracle this time around isn't completely crazy.
Excellent. Well, let's move on then to the games itself, and I want to start off then with the game Japan against Russia. And Gerard, let me start with you there. The handicap now sitting at about 39. I don't know if you were one of the guys who got on the early minus 19.5. I know many of the guys on the Good for the Game website got involved. I unfortunately didn't. And I've been looking at this game this week and saying, now that the handicap's 40, if anything, I'd probably still lean to the Japanese. But, for me, the value's been sucked out of that early play. How are you viewing this game?
No, Brent, I'm also one of those guys, unfortunately, that did not get onto the minus 19.5, even though it's at that stage, I also thought it's a furler. But I don't like to tie up my money for that longer period. Unfortunately, I should have actually rather put it on that than to go with Super Rugby. That's been shocking. Unfortunately, and minus 40 is too big for me, really, to put on something that's going to be huge. It's going to be very difficult. I saw something about Michael Leach that actually said that he doesn't know what to do in the practices. He's so excited that and nervous at the same time. So I think that first 20 minutes might be a cock-up, if you can call it like that. It might be a couple of kicks and knock-ons, and scrums and lineouts, skew lineouts and stuff like that. And then minus 40 looks rather big when you 3-0 up. That's just a big for me. 19.5 is awesome. I think that should stroll in, but minus 40 is too big for me in the first game. I do like I'm on the under 64.5 points in that game. I don't think Russia will get to 12 points even, and I think Japan will score around 45 to 50 points.
I saw Sapo on the Good for the Game forum went unders. So let's go down to Henrik and see. Henrik, I think you, if I'm not mistaken, were one of the guys who got on the early 19. So you've obviously got a big position already. Anything else you're adding?
Yeah, Brent, I got onto minus 17.5 and also took minus 28.5 at 16 to 10. So I've got a good position on Japan. Touching on the points, I can't back unders in this game. Both these teams are very attack orientated. Russia as well. They play attacking rugby and they don't care about the defense. I watched the game against Italy and I watched the highlights of the Connacht game and the Jersey game. And the defense is shocking. Both those games were in Moscow and it was the second team from Connacht. So I can't take the unders here. I think the points are well set here. And at current levels, I'll probably lean Japan on the minus, because even if you give me 60.5 on Russia, I won't back them on the plus, just because the defenses are shocking. And Japan will play a fast game and Japan will score a lot of points here. So if pushed, I will probably have a look at a second half. I know, Brent, I know you went for the first half handicap in your preview, but I will have a second half play on Japan at current levels, because I think the conditioning will be better in the last 20. The Russians, a lot of them, the amateur players, and the Japan conditioning is very good. So I think Japan will pull away in the second half. So I will either look at backing the second half handicap with minus on Japan, or look how the first half goes and then back Japan half time or 50 minutes on the minus.
Yeah, I must say I've contemplated that for quite some time, because I actually also liked the thought of the second half handicap. And then while I was looking for it, I came upon the 17.5 halftime at Sunbet there. And generally speaking, was around the 20.5 point mark. And that kind of, I was certainly swung a little bit by price. Just to mention on total points, I was also jumping to sell at 65.5 and I missed the price. Saw 62.5, and then I went and checked the weather conditions. It's the weather that Chris links to from the preview. So I don't know how, I'm not too sure how reliable it is. But the humidity, not what we expect. In other words, I'm seeing humidity levels of 50, 60%, heat 23 to 25 degrees. So we may not get the sort of conditions that we saw in the Bok game. And that Henrik, has me also respecting the total points liner, but I'm not keen to go unders. Oracle, what are you doing in this one?
Brent, look, with all due respect to the guys that took a minus of 16s and 17 and 18s, and even 28, as Henrik just said now, I think there's a little bit of value in that. I wasn't one of those people. Faced with a 39.5, or as one guy just said now, 42.5 at Hollywood. So let's talk around about the 40 line here. I've got to believe it's too much. Too much for a small bet, like a 1-unit bet for me. I wouldn't get involved in this game. There's a couple of things at play. The Russians are certainly dodgy when it comes to sports and drugs and all that sort of thing. So you never know. They might throw the game. Who knows? I don't know. I wouldn't get too involved in it. What I would look at it from a Japan point of view, though, is that I don't think this is the game they're targeting. So my mind tells me that these guys get 25 or 30 points up. They start to slow down, pull the guys off. The game they're targeting is the one that everyone's been talking about, is the Scotland game, which I just want to remind everybody watching, do not get involved in Japan versus Scotland. Japan will lose that game. Don't get involved in the hype of the World Cup. Scotland will beat Japan. And whatever the minus is, if it's minus 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, just get on the minus. That one's race over. Don't worry about that. But for this game, I've got to tell you, it's tier 2 versus tier 3.5. I don't know what Russia is, but over 40 just sounds too much. That's all it is. Nothing big, not more than 1 unit for me. I'm a little bit on the plus here, involved in a little bit of a multiple. I'm not even having a straight bet on this one. It's a non-event for me. My big games are Argentina on Saturday morning and South Africa on Saturday morning. So until then, I'm holding on to my wallet. I've had my outright bets, but I'm not getting involved tomorrow. It's very small. It's only in a multiple.
Right. Well, we'll get on to one of those Saturday games in a few minutes. But Couch, I don't think I've given you an opportunity to chat on this one.
Brent, it's konnichiwa for the Japanese, and it's das vidanya for the Russians. I think it's going to be game over. It's they might as well not run out onto the field. I hear Oracle 40 points is a lot, and especially against a team that's not really comfortable with putting teams away and used to really burying someone. So obviously the early value, it was easy to call, and I'm happy to be on. Current levels is difficult. The big thing I'm struggling with, and I've seen a lot of betting out on it, where I think everyone's almost expecting the second half where the strong team's really going to pull away because the smaller union or the smaller nation isn't used to it. They're not fit, that kind of thing. But the opposite, exactly like Gavin said, is that the big side is they're going to look to try and get the job done in the first 40. Chill your heels, get Leach and those guys off, and wait for another day. So it's a little bit tough. I love my halftime caps, and I'd love to really jump on board one, because that's where I think you could get something still, because the 40 is tough. So maybe in runnings your best option if Russia do manage something. As Hendrik said, I think Russia is going to pitch up there with 1 goal and 1 goal only, and that's to score a couple of tries. That's going to be their goal, or their only goal. But I must say I'm with you on the 17.5 first half. I think Jamie Joseph is going to have them up for this one. I disagree with them not being interested in the Russian game. I think the crowd is going to be absolutely boss. It's going to be crazy. They want to get everyone on board. I think it's going to be mayhem there, and they're going to want to put up a show. And I'm expecting them to come out blazing. Everyone's saying the top guys are going to taper in the first half and really bang in the second. They can't do that. They're not used to that. Japan's going to be caught up in the hype just like everyone else. I think they're going to be gassed after 30 minutes, but they're going to be up by 20-something. So I'm going to take the first half handicap on this one, but just a little one. As Gavin says, there's much better to look out for. Even the try scorer markets, I wanted to say Japan first scoring play is a try. I thought that was a good runner, because I think they'll do that, but there's no value there. So I'm saving my big plays for other games.
Excellent, guys. Can we move on to the Springboks game now? Anybody got anything to add on this game? I think we all want to talk about the Bok game. So just to mention, he's had enough. Gavin's ready to talk about the Bok game. So just make a note of the time here. We're 34 minutes into the show, because I'm sure some people will want to come and straight watch the Bok game certainly. We're also going to talk a bit about the Bok game on Friday night as well when we touch on the other Saturday games. But we must talk about it now. And Henrik, let me start with you straight away. We got the Springboks. There was plus 9.5, plus 10.5 a few months ago. That handicap has consistently come in, generally around the plus 6.5 mark now. Now, there's been loads of money for the Springboks, and I think Couch touched on it earlier. Sometimes when you like something and there's so much money for it, you actually start getting worried because bookmakers aren't in business for nothing. What are your thoughts on this one? Is the money on the box spot on, or do you think the All Blacks win this comfortably?
Yeah, this one actually started out plus 16.5 long ago, I think. Like,
wow.
But yeah, I haven't got I didn't get on the box plus. I think the box plus is still the way to go here. I think it should be really close. I think the box will win it. My call is the box to win it, but it will be really close. And I think the better bet for me here at better odds as well is a bet Chris from Good for the Game normally likes. It's the either team by 1-7 or the draw. At Sunbet is 1.45 to 1, so it's almost 15 to 10. Great price. You can lower your stake, and I think that's the best bet for me on this game. Both these teams, the All Blacks haven't been at the best, and South Africa's playing great rugby. So, in my opinion, this should be a choice game. So yeah, that's why I like that market. But I wouldn't put anybody off the plus here. I wouldn't take New Zealand on the minus.
Yeah, ruin for Ego in New Zealand minus 5.5. I can see Gavin's dying to talk, so I'm going to go straight to Gerard and ask him his opinion on this one.
Thanks, Brent. Sorry, Gav. I have to say it's one of those tough ones. One of those ones I wouldn't mind to be wrong. I went New Zealand under 13 to 10 at Sunbet. Just covering myself for a late try, perhaps. Yeah, I think New Zealand will take it but it will be tight. So yeah, that felt like a good play for me. 30 to 10 is not bad odds, and it's under 13. Like obviously would love the box to win, and I think our preparation has been perfect. But New Zealand is still New Zealand, and they're the favourites for a reason. Yeah, I just like the way that game management will come into play, and I think New Zealand will just kick better than the box will kick. Still don't like Leroux. Read something about he doesn't mind to pop into first receiver. I hate it when he pops into first receiver. He just runs across the park and tries to punish it. So yeah, preferring actually just to stay where he is. But yeah, I'm on New Zealand under 13 at 30 to 10.
Right, Couch, we'll let Oracle have the final word on this game. Give us your feelings on it.
Brent, everything was crystal clear as, almost Gary's prediction model is. I would have been able to give him that a month ago and it didn't change, and I was very solid. And the closer we get to kick off, the more, I don't know if I've been listening to Oracle too much or what's happening. Everywhere I look, I don't know, I have to change who I follow on social or something, because I'm just seeing Springboks all over the place, and there's no way for me to wrap my head around the fact that we're in a better space than the All Blacks are. You look at the team announcement, people trying to make a fuss of the fact that Elton Jantjies wasn't on the bench. That is the biggest issue about a Springbok team. I mean, that's like the first time that's a non-event like that is a huge issue. The All Blacks they've got a wing pairing that have played, I think, one test together and have only become the number one pairing now. They've got a centre pairing that's no one's sure whether that's the best centre pairing. They've got the best fullback in the world not playing. They've got the best flyer in the world playing fullback. It's chaos there. Everything's, you could say it was before the World Cup. You could say he was trying things and all that business. But now we are when it matters. The loose chair doesn't work as a combination. I'm sorry, Brody Retallick isn't playing. If we don't beat them, we'll never beat them. This is the time for the box. Everything is we cherry out for this. Our preparation was spot on. If this was a horse, we're walking down to the turnstiles there to the starter gate, and we're looking great. No, we're looking great. Put your money on the box. The value is there. 2-1 on the box to win this game. This is a 50-50. It could go either way, but the box should sneak it. That's what I tell myself. As I said there, you match the two teams, take the box.
I thought when you compared them to horse, you're going to say the Boks are having their first run after a gelding. So I was quite pleased you didn't do that. Let's move on to Oracle now. Oracle, I can see you've got firm opinions on this one.
Yeah, Brent, there's no gelding on the South Africans here. The only team that's gelded is the New Zealand team. But anyway, just to go back to what Gerard said earlier, he said he backed Mwanga to be top scorer. Now, I've got a concern with that, and I've looked at the stats as well, and the New Zealanders don't win this thing because they got 2 kickers every time they go to a World Cup. I know Dan Carter was the only one, but he still didn't win it. And the problem here is that they don't know who their kicker is going to be. We know we've left Giant Cheese off. So 28-1 might as well be 200-1 because I obviously can't win. Andre Pollard will have to play the whole thing, or we'll have a bit of Frans Steyn who'll kick about, will attempt a couple of drop goals like he did in 2009 from 63 meters. But anyway, look, Hans right. Look, our problem here is we live in South Africa, and I assume the New Zealanders are in exactly the same position. They're going around, they're hearing all of this banter. You can't stay away from it. People are, I mean, I've even had chicks from the office phoning me like, who should I back? How much should I put on South Africa? You know, do you think South Africa will win? Everyone's talking about it, you know. There's Hendrik sitting with a South African shirt. My kid went to school with one today. I'm going to work tomorrow with one. You know, that's the problem. We live in South Africa. We live in a place where we can win this tournament. And people start to believe. So, yes, fine, you're 100% right. You've got to wipe that all out, and you've got to start thinking about real stuff. Now, let's look at the price. 2-1. I'm also on you. I'm also with you, sorry. 2-1's a massive price for this game, considering that we have been as much as 18-1. Last year when we beat New Zealand in Wellington, we were 18-1 to win that match. This year we were 9 or 10 or 7 or whatever it was to win. We won it. We drew that particular game. But now we're 2-1. Now we're looking at a handicap that's plus 6.5, plus 5.5, plus 7.5, depending on where you go. And Hendrik and Han and Gerard and Brent will know that you have to go back probably about 10 years since we last saw handicaps like that against New Zealand. So really, what we're calling value is a bottom end of what value actually is. But it still feels like value. And I'm still all over South Africa. And if you look around, remember, if South Africa beat New Zealand, which I'm expecting on Saturday, it means that they're going to win Group B. There's absolutely no way on this green earth, or whatever you want to call it, that if South Africa beats New Zealand on Saturday, that New Zealand can win this group. But it's impossible. So you might as well go looking around for the bookmakers have been too slow to move their Group B winner price. And I've seen some at 22-10. I'm sure you can see a little bit more. And to go back to what Hendrik said earlier, that we were plus 16.5 a couple of months ago. Let me tell you, in this group, Group B winner, we were as much as 4.5, 9-2 to win Group B. So now we're down to pretty much half the price. I've got a standard rule. I don't bet anything below half the price. This is the price right now. Take it if you're going to back South Africa. New Zealand are at the biggest price they've been in this particular fixture. They're all over the place. They got 2 kickers. I don't know what's going on. Rassie Erasmus is top of his game. South Africa will win this game. I just heard Gerard earlier saying he's taken 13-10 about New Zealand winning 1-12. I just heard Hendrik say he's got both teams to win by 1-7. I got to tell you, you might as well take the 22-10 or 2-1, whatever you can get. Group B winner, South Africa to win the game, whatever it is. There's the value. I cannot see New Zealand winning this game. However, New Zealand will get to the final because no one else will beat them. We'll get there and we'll beat them again. Just like we did in 2007, we beat England twice. We'll beat New Zealand twice. We'll lift the cup and everybody will be happy. Don't bother about the plus. Take the board price cap. They will win the game.
I was going to point out another bet, which I think is a bit of value, although it's not the sort of bet you can back with any confidence. I saw 28-1 about the draw. Now Oracle's going to argue, well, don't bother backing the draw because South Africa are going to win.
No, look, you know what? You're 100% right. If you've got 500 Rand on this game, put 20 Rand on the draw. If you've got $1,000 on, put $50 on. You've got $5,000 on, put 100 Rand on or 150 on. You shouldn't want to win on the draw. You should be getting your money back or 75% of your money back. Punting draws to win money is a mug's game. Don't do it. Rather let the bookmakers get involved in that stuff. If you're really worried, you've got a big bet on a game, take the draw to cover a little bit of your stake, 50%, 75 or 100% of your stake, but don't try and win money on the draw. Anyone who tells you, won on the draw is a mug. He's probably a loser over time. Stay away from him. Don't even listen to that.
No, I agree with you. It's got to be the sort of bet you've either had a good win and you've got a bit of spare cash to throw at it or something, but certainly not something you could predict, which is why people who go for the draw in Super Brew also baffle me. I mean, how they would take every other
Only get
result.
1 point.
Yeah, exactly. Only counts 1 point. Can you believe it? Guys, I'm going to leave it there for the Bok game because we are going to touch on this tomorrow night. We can talk about try scorers, who's going to score the first try in that tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We'll be going into more detail in this game. But the show is running on, and I do want to touch on some of the other rugby this weekend. Unless anyone's got anything strong to say on this game, they can't wait for tomorrow. But I'd like to start with Gerard here on the Gavin.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask something that's been not burning a hole in my pocket here, but I've got a group multi, so that's one winner in every group, and I'm really interested to know what the four of you, your multiple is, and I'm going to tell you what mine is. I'm going for a little bit of value. I do believe that Argentina at 11-2 is quite a lot of value. I think they'll beat. Oh, I'm pretty sure they'll beat France. I'm expecting France to beat England, and I'm expecting England to beat Argentina. So it's one of those vicious circle kind of things. But the value for me is with Argentina. I'm going with a form. With the odds-on Wales and Ireland to beat their group, to win their groups, and South Africa. And I managed to get 47-1 about my multiple. So that's South Africa, Argentina, Wales, and Ireland. And I know that I saw anything from 35 right up to 47-1. So I'm interested to know what the four of you guys think for group multiple. And I know that a lot of the viewers will be thinking that as well. And quite frankly, this is the time to take the bet before the first game kicks off, because you're going to be in trouble trying to get this bet on over the weekend. That's for sure.
Well, let me ask Henrik. Henrik, have you worked out, because the four favourites, what it would work out to? Would you imagine maybe like 15-10 to 1?
Yeah, I haven't worked that out, Brent, but I can't see England not winning their group. I'm of the opinion Argentina won't even qualify. So I've got France to beat Argentina. I can't see Argentina or France beating England. So Oracle's already going to lose his bet there, in my opinion.
Yeah, he certainly got a big price there. Look, the only thing
I go close to 47-1.
For me, the key group really for me is actually this game taking place on Saturday, South Africa against New Zealand. If you throw South Africa into a multiple and throw it in with the other, even if you take the other three favourites, you're going to end up with a fairly nice bet, probably around 7-2, 4-1 or something like that. And that's for me. But we'll touch more on that one then tomorrow night. But certainly, an adventurous accumulator there from Oracle. But popping over to Gerard now, just for a bit of meter 10 cup, just so we can wrap the show up. What do you fancy? You did say at the start of the show you had some good things for us.
Yeah, Brent, there's two that really stands out to me. Bay of Plenty on Sunday versus Northland. I think it was at 12.5 the cap. I think Northland is terrible, and Bay of Plenty, every week we say Bay of Plenty is awesome, and they are really superb. They play awesome brand of rugby, and really, I can't see anyone beating them in the championship, for the promotion to the premiership. And then North Harbour at home versus Otago. Otago is poor on the road. They're good at home, but they're very poor on the road. I think they will cover the 10.5 at home. Those two are the standouts. It's very difficult to concentrate on my 10 Cup if the World Cup is starting. For now it's only those two.
Excellent. I'm just watching my phone, and the money's coming into the Super Brew account. We're going to have a nice big pot that we're playing for. Super Brew, not always a great game for punters, but just watching the payments coming in, we're going to have a very good pot. So it's 500 Rand to play. There are details down below here and also on the Good for the Game website. So that's Gerard's views on the Meter 10 Cup. Henrik, have you had a look at that, or are you purely focused on World Cup?
Brent, I have had a look at the Meter 10 Cup, but most of my focus is on the World Cup, so I haven't had a proper look. But there's two I like. I like Gerard's Bay of Plenty as well, but not as strong as he does. There's two others I like more. And my strongest one is tomorrow morning, Hawke's Bay. They were 8-10 to win the game earlier in the week. The handicap is out to 3.5. They're about 5-10 to win the game now. I'm very strong on them to beat the -3.5 tomorrow as well. I think Taranaki is overrated. I've taken them on the whole season. He has gone against me once or twice this season, but I like Hawke's Bay very strong tomorrow morning. And then I like Tasman to bounce back against Waikato. They're playing in Hamilton, so it's a home game for Waikato. But yeah, Tasman -11.5. They picked a pretty strong team. So yeah, my second best bet on the Mitre 10 Cup is Tasman on the minus there.
Yeah, just a welcome to Shane, who's joined us over there. And says it seems like everyone wants to fire on the box, and he's right in that sense. But I must say one thing, and if anyone new to our show came on, they'd probably be tempted to say, look at these South Africans, just backing South Africa every time. But I can tell you, a guy like Henrik, it takes a lot for him to say that South Africa have got a chance. I'm the same as, I'm often opposing South Africa. So it's very interesting that all of us virtue without fail on the box. So yeah, let's hope we're on the right track. I can really see it being close. And I always have that feeling that if a team's going to get robbed, or maybe robbed is the wrong word, but if something dramatic's going to happen in the last minute, like a refereeing decision, I always have that horrible feeling it will go against the box. But let's see. Catch, anything on any of the other rugby this weekend?
No, Brent, last week didn't go well in any case, so it's a case of putting the Mitre 10 away now. We've got real rugby on now, so I don't need to go there. But I must say, they can tempt me anytime with a Bay of Plenty or Tasman bets. I'll probably go for smaller minuses there and throw them into a few World Cup multiples. That shouldn't hurt, and I don't see those guys do their job. I agree with Henrik. Tasman will want to hit back after poor showing, and I think it was a pretty disappointing effort from Canterbury today, which luckily I also they had a few guys out, so I don't know if someone got on them there. I hope Gerard didn't. I didn't read. But so I'll mostly stay out of it. And then just as you said, Brent, as I said, I didn't want to get into this hype, and I didn't give the box a chance a while back, and it's definitely not a case of us just saying let's all just get on the Springboks. We obviously look to try, and that's why we're talking about the pool winner and things like that. We might actually try and find some value. So we're all about trying to find some value and what is a better play. And as I said, I analyze it. I just feel that on most aspects the box are ahead, and we're playing on a neutral venue. So take the value, which is 2-1.
Excellent, and thanks also to Shane for copying us in on Twitter. He let us. It was Marco Hayes. I think he was a guest on the show. Some good rugby analysis, and I made the comment earlier on in the live comments. Seems like everyone's got a YouTube show at the moment. I can't believe the number of YouTube shows that are actually out there. But let's hope ours is one of the best. Just to mention, they Doe Line say no one going to talk about the Pro 14 season. One thing I can tell you, Joe, is there's an outside chance I'll be in Port Elizabeth next week to watch the Kings. I think they play one of the overseas sides, so I might well be at the game, but I don't think any of us have had a good look at that yet. And let's go to Oracle. Oracle, any closing thoughts?
No, Brent. Just to say that, go South Africa, and Henrik's 100% right. He's just mentioned something there. I have admittedly punted South Africa probably much more than Henrik has in the past. I do believe, I haven't got it on paper or any stats. I do believe I'm up on South Africa's punting. I don't back them every single time, just like I don't back the Lions every single time. But this I don't know. There's just something about this whole vibe at the moment. Russia Rasmus is no mug. He seems to have got everything right. And geez, I always say this: if you get the chicks in the office to talk about it, something is going right, because we know we were around in 1999 and 2003 when we had very little chance in the tournament, and nobody was talking about it. And today, everybody, even my wife, is talking about it. I mean, fuck, sorry, I'm swearing again. Sorry, I do apologize. Yeah, so look, South Africa had a much bigger chance in this tournament than they did in the last one and the one before that. Absolutely. Get on. It's a decent price. Why not? Have a go.
Excellent, guys. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the show. I'll just wrap around. Other acts will say that Oracle's had his last word already. Couch, just quickly give us your best bet with the long term of the two games we discussed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, maybe look for something if the price is better on the box to win the group, and then I'd actually take that one. Take the favourites onto the box to win their group into a multiple, because I'm with Henrik. I don't see England slipping, and the others are gimmies for number one. Okay, well, Wales England I suppose is also a little bit of a goer, but I'm obviously gonna go for Wales there. So I think get on that, and that's probably your best place to go right now.
That's it. Shane just pointing out the total points in the Japan game. Henrik and I are a little bit weary of going unders on that. Gerard, your best bet?
I would just like to say that my wife is going to be on the wine farm on Saturday, and I'm going to have a couple of brandies at 12. So it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And all I can say is this: I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the Bokkers smash the ABs. And furthermore, I'd like to just have a look at the first couple of games and just see if the weather really has that type of impact that we all actually are hoping that it's going to have. And then, go Fiji against Australia.
Excellent. And the boys will be on to talk about that one tomorrow night. Henrik, wrap it up for us.
Yeah, Brent, I haven't got a best bet on these two games that we discussed. On the long terms, I really like the unders on points and tries, but I think I'm going to give a value bet. I think the either team by 1-7 or the draw in the New Zealand game at almost 15-10 is a nice value bet. So that's my bet.
Excellent. Well, for me, I got on the total points line at Sunbet when it came out, and even at current points lines, I'll be going unders for the tournament. I do think, don't worry, there's going to be the odd high-scoring game thrown in there, but I think generally speaking, we're going to be looking at an unders tournament, and I'm actually trying to get a spread betting account overseas activated through all sorts of means, but I haven't had it for so long that I've forgotten. But I'm looking to sell shirts, and I might just keep a tally if we had to sell shirts every game of the tournament. Okay, Oracle, I'd given you a final word, but just say cheers to the guys. Last word to you.
Yeah, listen, you're 100% right, Brent. Unders is the way to go. Obviously, depends on your wallet. With regards to Gerard over there, he's going to be sucking on some brandy at a wine farm in Cape Town somewhere. Look, South Africa are going to win, so you better just hope you don't put too much on that 1-12 New Zealand. And let's. I don't have anything else to say. I'm surprised people are talking about Mata 10 Cup. I didn't even know it was still on. I thought the finals were played and it was over, and the World Cup was starting. So I'm quite surprised. But anyway, enjoy the World Cup. I'll be on some of your shows, Brent. I don't know if I'll be on every one of them, but I'll certainly will be there for a few of them. You just let me know, and I'll be there.
Excellent. Certainly all the guys on the panel here, but we'll certainly spread it out. We'll get a few new guests. We can't expect people to come on every night. And I know Couch, who's fortunately not been working that hard lately, he's been offered to do quite a big shift.
Doesn't work at all.
Excellent, guys. Thanks very much. And thanks, as usual, to the guys in the live chat. Joe Lyons, he's looking forward to that game between Ireland and South Africa, which may well take place in the quarterfinals. Anyways, guys, thanks very much. Shane, thanks for joining us. And we'll speak to you guys soon. If you haven't yet subscribed to our show, go down below. And look out, I'll probably do a few individual match previews as well, short and sweet, and just come to a few bets, perhaps a few hours before kickoff. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you Friday night at 9 o'clock.